Folks, AI is everywhere. Heck, this video might be AI and you would never know because it's getting that good. But with AI improving seemingly every single day, doing everyday things like being able to drive your car, could AI book a successful WrestleMania 41 match card? That's what today's video is. I asked ChatGPT to book a 14 match card for WrestleMania 41 with some parameters that we'll talk about in just a second. So we're gonna look at this card, we're gonna critique it, and I'm gonna tell you whether it's a boom or a doom. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of the frickin' Costco guys. It's a double chunk chocolate cookie. I can't get them out of my head. As always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring that bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm confident you're gonna fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, let's see what the robot overlords decided to come up with. Before I show you the 14 match card that ChatGPT came up with, I wanted to let you know that I gave ChatGPT a few rules to follow when creating this match card. The first rule, I told it to only use WWE superstars that are actively signed to the WWE as of August 2024. The second rule was to make sure that there are no rematches from WrestleMania 40 because I wanted some diversity and I didn't want ChatGPT to spit out Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes again. The third rule is to make sure to include a match for both The Rock and John Cena since they're both likely to have matches at WrestleMania 41. I did this rule to make sure that the first rule of only including active WWE superstars as of August 2024 didn't exclude The Rock and John Cena. I told ChatGPT to include as many title matches as it could possibly think of. I also told ChatGPT to include one world-renowned celebrity from movies or music in a match. All right, let's reveal what ChatGPT ultimately came up with. Would you look at that? ChatGPT booked The Rock, the final boss. It's gonna be bloodline rules against the tribal chief Roman Reigns, which funnily enough is likely to be the WrestleMania 41 main event. All roads seem to be paved towards The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41. Hell, it was the roads that were originally paved for WrestleMania 40, and if it didn't happen last year, I'm sure it's bound to happen this year, and I think that ChatGPT sniffed that out, and that's why it gave us The Rock versus Roman Reigns. I'm impressed that ChatGPT was able to deduce this from the information online. Well done, because I do think that this is a match that will happen at WrestleMania 41. Interesting to note that this match isn't for any title. It's just The Rock versus Roman Reigns. I'm sure that in the WWE storytelling in real life that it'll likely be for the Ulafala, for who's the tribal chief, who is the high chief of the bloodline. And if I were to assume, I doubt that ChatGPT has booked any matches that are bigger than this. This would probably close out this ChatGPT 14 match card for WrestleMania 41. Look at that. ChatGPT gave us Seth freaking Rollins versus John Cena for the WWE Undisputed Championship, and it has Seth Rollins going in as the champion. I think that this is wild that this would never happen at WrestleMania 41, but that's pretty cool that ChatGPT is aware that there is likely a John Cena match, because I told it there was one, but it would be John Cena chasing the glory of the 17th title belt. I don't know how ChatGPT came to the conclusion that Seth Rollins would walk in as the WWE Undisputed Champion. I feel like there's too many hurdles to get there, not including CM Punk, Drew McIntyre over on Monday Night Raw, but of course, Cody Rhodes himself and Roman Reigns would probably be in the picture for the WWE Undisputed Championship. So I don't know if between now and WrestleMania 41 that we could realistically get a Seth Rollins as WWE champion, but hell, I'm here for it. I'm personally just happy that ChatGPT gave this match to John Cena. I was concerned that it was going to give John Cena the celebrity match. I'm glad that ChatGPT knows that there is history being chased by John Cena within the next 365 days of his retirement tour. Next, ChatGPT spat out Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny, and I presume that this is the celebrity match that ChatGPT decided to come up with. Regardless of who it considers the celebrity, in my eyes, I'm assuming that would be Bad Bunny because Logan Paul is, for all intents and purposes, a far more active WWE superstar than Bad Bunny is. This is the match that a lot of people want because this is the 1 and 2 most prolific, the best celebrity involvement, the best celebrity wrestlers that the WWE has ever had, and we've had them at the same time. And if the WWE wanted to really make some noise in the mainstream, this is a great way to do it. Let's be honest though, Bad Bunny, in terms of global reach, dwarfs Logan Paul. I think that a lot of people do not recognize just how big Bad Bunny is, especially in Latin-speaking countries. Logan Paul has little to no reach in Latin America. Meanwhile, Bad Bunny is like the closest thing to the Pope as it gets in Latin American music. So I think this is a good booking because there is a lot of history for WWE fans to dissect, a lot of fantasy conversations as to who's the best celebrity performer ever. So I like this so far. Look at this banger that ChatGPT gave us. Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's World Championship, and ChatGPT has Rhea Ripley going in as the Women's World Champion. So it looks like ChatGPT is foreseeing that Rhea Ripley is going to overcome the Judgment Day, take out Liv Morgan, take out Dominic Mysterio, and walk into WrestleMania as the champion. There is no mention of who the potential Royal Rumble winner is, but it's very likely that maybe it's Bianca Belair or Charlotte going in as the Royal Rumble winner. Either way, regardless of how that ends up playing out, this is a dream match. Like, genuinely, this is like probably the 3 most popular women in professional wrestling. I know a lot of the hardcores do not like Charlotte Flair, but it's still Charlotte freaking Flair, all right? Put some respect on this woman. But when it comes to like a WrestleMania worthy match, holy shit, this is it. This is a WrestleMania worthy giant epic women's match. Personally, I would actually love to see this. I don't know if I want to see it at WrestleMania 41, whatever it might be. Me personally, I would prefer Charlotte versus somebody else, and I would love to see Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair in a one-on-one environment. But this triple threat would undeniably be fantastic. Well, ChatGPT's getting crazy with it. We've got Gunther going in as the World Heavyweight Champion, defending against CM Punk. It's interesting because I do foresee that CM Punk is going to be in the World Heavyweight Championship picture, maybe a championship picture that involves Gunther, but I think myself and pretty much everyone else has envisioned a World Heavyweight Championship picture that has Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre in it. I think a lot of us have already married ourselves to the idea of it being Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, very likely for the World Heavyweight Championship. Don't get me wrong, I would love to see Gunther versus CM Punk, and this is a match that is technically within our reach because they're both on the same brand. They both have eyes for the World Heavyweight Championship in some capacity. They're both revolved around the World Heavyweight Championship in some capacity. So it's not like this one is like a crazy fantasy booking. It's crazy because it just doesn't follow the norms that we're seeing right now on WWE TV, and it doesn't connect the dots that fans are connecting of it likely being a CM Punk versus Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania instead. But again, I would love to see Gunther versus CM Punk at some point. So far, I'm gonna be honest, like ChatGPT is kind of cooking. Next, ChatGPT booked Sami Zayn going in as the Intercontinental Champion versus Kevin Owens. I don't know about this one. Mostly because like we've seen this before. I feel like it's played out, but it's such an iconic rivalry that I could definitely see it being re-sparked in some capacity, in some way, shape, or form. This does mean that Sami Zayn has regained the Intercontinental Championship, and so far, at the very least from what we're seeing on television as of the making of this video, he's completely removed from the Intercontinental Championship picture since losing the title and the rematch to Braun Breaker. This would also mean that Kevin Owens would have to be part of Monday Night Raw, which I don't think is entirely impossible. I mean, we're seeing people make jumps every now and then for temporary feuds like Randy Orton is currently doing with Gunther over on Monday Night Raw, even though Randy's from SmackDown. Would this match be awesome? Yeah, absolutely. Would I like to see it? Sure. I just feel like there are more creative matches out there for the Intercontinental Championship than this. ChatGPT also booked a United States Championship match between the champion Austin Theory defending his championship against LA Knight. I don't know that ChatGPT knows that the Austin Theory babyface turn is in the wings, that it's about to happen. So I don't see this match likely happening anytime soon, especially if Theory does turn babyface. Unless maybe LA Knight turns heel, you know, but I don't see that happening either with how freaking popular he is. But they are both part of the Friday Night SmackDown roster, so it is within reach. This does mean that at some point, LA Knight needs to lose the United States champion. Maybe it is to Austin Theory, or maybe he lost it to somebody else before, and Austin Theory claimed it, and then LA Knight became a #1 contender. There's a whole bunch of ways how we can get to this. But this as a destination is not crazy. Like, I could see it happening with the pieces that are currently at play on SmackDown. I just don't see it happening this way. This one is freaking crazy. ChatGPT booked Asuka going in as the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion against Io Sky. I did not tell ChatGPT to book a title that doesn't exist. ChatGPT decided to come up with this one on its own. AI is freaking scary because I could see this being a genuine possibility for a title that does not yet exist that I think will likely exist soon. We're already seeing down in NXT their prototype of the mid-card championship in the women's division with the Women's North American title, and I'm sure that it's inevitably going to lead to a women's mid-card set of belts, whether it's just one Intercontinental Championship or maybe an Intercontinental Championship and a US championship for women. But I'll tell you right now, this sounds to me like a banger, and this sounds like a great matchup. It sounds like two great women to help elevate this brand new championship. ChatGPT, like, I'm on board with this. I think here's where ChatGPT got a little bit confused. I don't know how we could possibly get to this, but it has the Usos defending their WWE World Tag Team titles against the Street Profits. So in some capacity, it's got the Usos reuniting in a way where they once again become a tag team. Not only do they become a tag team, but they become World Tag Team Champions again, and then they go in against the Street Profits. Okay. Look, I guess the Street Profits are feuding with the Bloodline, so maybe we can connect it this way, but this is a reach. I'm sure this match would be a banger, but I'm beyond seeing the Usos as a tag team. I want to see what they can do solos moving on. This is where ChatGPT is just like, I'm giving up. I'm just gonna go with like the most generic possible match I can. It's got the Unholy Union going in as the WWE Women's Tag Champions and taking on the team of Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. ChatGPT, you're fumbling on this one. Like, this is a feud that's already kind of happened on Monday Night Raw. Nobody wanted to see it on Monday Night Raw, and nobody's gonna want to see it on WrestleMania stage, honestly. But it's cool that ChatGPT booked the women's tag titles. That's pretty good, and it booked it in a way that doesn't have to involve Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Because I've been making the argument that really these titles are only getting on PLEs because of the star power of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. You remove those two, and these titles are on Raw at maybe 10, 20 at night at best. Don't love this match, but again, cool that the women's tag titles are in this. What the fuck is ChatGPT on? Look at this match. It's got AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Finn Balor. Nothing on the line, just a triple threat match. Don't get me wrong, this sounds like a deliciously good triple threat match. I think that this would genuinely be amazing, but how do we get here, and what's the storyline that got us here? Really, actually, you could make the New Japan connection and make this like a Japanese strong style triple threat match. That'd be kind of neat. But other than that, it just sort of seems like a match for the sake of having a match and a match for the sake of making sure that these three guys get on WrestleMania. I do foresee that in some capacity, AJ Styles and Finn Balor get on the WrestleMania card. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely convinced that Shinsuke Nakamura has any momentum right now that could build him to be on the WrestleMania card. Maybe if there's like a war, maybe you could make the argument that you could do Judgment Day versus the Good Brothers, and like you could do that, and it eventually comes to a head with the two leaders of the group going to blows at WrestleMania, but like we've literally already seen that storyline. Interesting choice, but I'd like to hear ChatGPT's reasoning if it could give us a reason. Actually, it probably could. It is AI, intelligent AI. I'm telling you, it's going to take over the planet. ChatGPT's getting lazy, folks. And I'm sorry to the Cody Rhodes fans. It seems like Cody Rhodes has been relegated to mid-card at WrestleMania 41. It labeled it as a bracket grudge match, whatever that might be. Maybe that's ChatGPT implying that Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa could be some sort of like unsanctioned match. Maybe a Hell in a Cell, maybe a strap match, street fight, false count anywhere. Honestly, I feel like if they were to do this match at WrestleMania, it would need that sort of extra stipulation to make people be interested for it. It would be interesting to have this match be exciting on its own 2 feet, because at SummerSlam, it wasn't. At SummerSlam, it was all about waiting for the return of Roman Reigns, so it would be interesting to see how this dynamic would play out as a match, as a storyline, without the ever-looming presence of the potential Roman Reigns return. But it looks like even when he doesn't get to go for the title, Cody Rhodes cannot escape the bloodline at WrestleMania. But hey, look, at the very least, it could be a callback to WrestleMania 39, when it was Solo Sikoa that cost Cody Rhodes the championship at WrestleMania. Of course, a callback to the most recent SummerSlam. So, like, the justification is there, but I do foresee Cody Rhodes being in a world title picture, not in just like a grudge match for the sake of grudge match against Solo Sikoa. Dude, what the hell? Dude, ChatGPT, I am impressed. It came up with Randy Orton versus Bo Dallas / Uncle Howdy. ChatGPT clearly knows the history of WWE. It knows that Randy Orton has had a duology of matches with Bray Wyatt. It knows that Randy Orton has a history with this universe of the Wyatts. It knows that Randy Orton has been turning his back on friends and family for as long as he's been in the WWE. I mean, like, this feud, I mean, I'm down for it. I've always loved the idea of a Firefly Funhouse style match for Randy Orton, seeing, you know, the beginnings, the genesis of Randy Orton's career, and maybe seeing all of his betrayals alongside all of his successes in the match similar that we got at WrestleMania 37 between John Cena and Bray Wyatt. Personally, if I was booking it, I'd like to see the return of the Firefly Funhouse for Randy Orton at WrestleMania, but it would probably be a match. I find it hard that people that pay a ton of money to go to a WrestleMania in Las Vegas, a place that's already super expensive, to want to see a match that's literally just watching the screen instead of like seeing what's actually happening live in the ring. But ultimately, I'm impressed that ChatGPT came up with Randy Orton versus Bo Dallas / Uncle Howdy. I think this is great. And the last match that ChatGPT came up with, try and make sense of this one, it's Damian Priest versus Jason Momoa, the guy that plays Aquaman. The guy that a lot of people used to say Roman Reigns looks a lot like. I did tell ChatGPT to book a world-renowned celebrity in a match, but I thought that was Bad Bunny or Logan Paul. It spit out another one. It's Damian Priest versus Jason Momoa. Here's the thing, all right? If there's anyone that could guide a celebrity to a 5-star match, it's literally Damian Priest. We saw him do it with Bad Bunny at Puerto Rico Backlash all the way back in 2023, and he did so good that he eventually got himself a push, became Mr. Money in the Bank, Senor Money in the Bank, then became the champion, El Campeón. So maybe this is how we get to champion Damian Priest again. He's got to put another celebrity over. Jason Momoa, to be fair, does have the build of a professional wrestler, so it's not, like a crazy stretch here. Well, that's it, folks. Let me know what you thought of ChatGPT's booking options. I'm not gonna lie, like, this is an interesting WrestleMania card. I feel like there's far more good than bad here. That's it, folks. That's it. I'm done. Get out of here.